everybody, Ruth Thurtle, Business Results Catalyst. Here I am with another Monday Marketing Morsel as we continue this series of the mistakes that business owners make that is keeping them broke. The mistakes that people are making that is causing them to be not as trusted as they could be, not as easy to do business, not as approachable. All of these things are things that we have to bear in mind as business owners when we're looking at having people do business with us. Today I want to talk to you about the first impression that we're making. Now, there are times, and I will come back to this, there are times where the first impression is not the most vital, but they are very, very few and far between. And in fact, even with the example that I'm going to give you a little bit later, it wasn't actually the first impression. The first impression, all of this still applies. What is it that you want people to think about you when they meet you for the first time? Do you want them to think that you are professional? Do you want them to think that you are a good person to do business with? Do you want them to think that you're organized? Do you want them to think that you'll go the extra mile for them? Is what you're doing, is what they are seeing, matching up to those kind of impressions that you want to make? Is what you're wearing giving that kind of an impression? Or do you look as if you've just thrown something together? Just throwing something together is not the same as professional, courteous, going the extra mile. This was brought home to me when I was at events, workshops, seminars, whatever you want to call them, conferences. And for me, I've been all about my comfort and thinking, you know, tracksuit bottoms, leggings, no makeup, don't bother with the hair, I'm just there to learn. And then I realized that in that room, there were potential clients, there were potential joint venture partners, there were some incredibly successful business people who I wanted to do business with long term. So I needed to dress and look after my appearance in a way that was going to reflect that. Think about when you turn up to a networking event. And this is not just about the clothes that you wear or what you do with your hair or, boys, what you do with your makeup. But this is, are you rushing in at the last minute? Is that telling people that you're really busy? Or is that telling people that you're a bit disorganized? We've spoken over and over again as we look at these mistakes as the way that people perceive us, and the fact that how people see us do one thing is how they think we'll do everything. So if they see us seeming to be a little bit flustered, a little bit disorganized, not quite getting our act together, that's how they think that we're going to deal with them if they're our client. And that's not an impression that we want to give. I told you I was going to come back to an example. I was talking to a real estate agent last week. And real estate agents, as you know, there's a bit of a look. There's a bit of a suit. There's a bit of a well-turned-out look that you expect from a real estate agent. And this real estate agent was telling me how he'd been doing some letterbox drops in his local area. So he was dressed in shorts, t-shirt and flip-flops or thongs, depending on which country you're in and listening to this. But he was really casual. And the lady was pulling into her drive, saw him and said, "Oh, I've been waiting for you to come round. I need to talk to you. Come on in." And he listed her house. And when we were talking, it was a bit of a joke of the fact that, you know, he really wasn't in his uniform, his real estate agent uniform. But the first impression that that lady had had of his business was not the guy in the shorts t-shirt. It was the guy who was selling houses, who was professional, who did what he could for his clients because he'd been recommended from somebody else. So I want you to think about it. If you were meeting you for the first time, what would you think? What can you do differently? For me, it was going to workshops and making a bit of an effort with my appearance, not at the extent of being unapproachable and looking so perfect. You might have noticed I don't really do perfect, but I do professional. And it worked. I have some great friends, some great business partners, and some great clients that I've met in those workshop rooms. What people think of you when they meet you does matter. You can change an opinion, but isn't it easier to get it right first time? So I'd love to hear what you might be able to tweak or change, what you might be able to do just a little bit differently so that you give the impression right from the beginning that is the impression that you want people to have of you. We've got one more mistake to look at. Next week, we will be having a look at how easy it is to pay or not. So I look forward to seeing you 9 o'clock next Monday morning for another Monday Marketing Morsel. Have a fabulous week. Love to know what you're going to go do differently. Change this mistake into a real win for you. Look forward to seeing you then. See you later. Ruth Thirdle, Business Results Catalyst.